get out of the inside when it's a nice day. But there's definitely a shit ton of bugs, so let's make this short. So there are people in Congress that are trying to allow people to pay their taxes in Bitcoin. Now, some people are like, this is the stupidest thing in the entire world, because why would I give my Bitcoin over to pay taxes? But other people believe that this is the first step to becoming, or for Bitcoin to becoming legal tender. So I can see both sides. Here's a story just on everything going on at the same time. So it says, U.S. government selling seized Silk Road Bitcoin, U.S. government selling seized Banmeet Singh Bitcoin, German government selling Bitcoin, and Mt. Gox distributing Bitcoin after a decade. So this guy's like, very interesting. Things are happening all at the same time. Maybe to suppress the price, we don't know. But it is interesting when a lot of things happen at the same time that either has a positive or negative effect on the price of Bitcoin. Next, we got a story from Morgan Stanley saying Morgan Stanley will approve Bitcoin ETFs on their wealth management platform for all clients by the end of August. Very, very bullish, right? Basically, a story I did a few days ago showed that I think only 80% of the Bitcoin ETF inflows were done from individuals, meaning most of the Bitcoin ETF inflows were not suggested by people's investment advisors. And I think that is a huge untapped source of inflows into Bitcoin. Mike Cagney on Twitter says, biggest news in crypto right now should be about the Supreme Court's Chevron ruling. This moves arbitrary enforcement from the regulator to the court. Previously, when there wasn't clear legislation, courts had to side with the regulator like the SEC. With this decision, courts decide autonomously big for our space. And yeah, that is very, very big news that the courts no longer have to side with the regulators if there isn't clarity on the situation. And that leads me to this next story. Scott Melker reported on it. He says, Coinbase should effectively be clear of any threat from the SEC after Chevron was overturned. The SEC's interpretation of the Howey test was just rendered irrelevant in court. And the SEC's case against Coinbase is almost entirely based on exactly that. If the SEC can't use Howey to claim crypto assets are securities, then what does that leave them? Well, pretty big news, right? I was expecting Coinbase stock to rip after this story, but it didn't. Often things don't rip when they should, or things rip when they shouldn't, right? Not everything is correlated to the news, but essentially this gives a lot more freedom for essentially altcoins and Coinbase and people to list things on their exchange, and it takes power away, again, from the SEC, which the SEC has not been everyone's favorite person or entity over the last couple of years, right? Here, Balaji, very smart guy, about 20,000 million times smarter than me, he says on Chevron dominance, he says technology is about to accelerate because Chevron defense is over and regulators can't just make up laws anymore. So countless new startups just became feasible. So kind of like what Trump said, whether you like Trump or not, saying that Bitcoin mining should be in the United States, I hope that crypto companies can stay in the United States and they aren't pushed to other countries that have more clear regulations and they don't have people trying to literally sue them all the time, which basically leads me to my next story. ConsenSys was just sued by the SEC. Okay, they alleged that its MetaMask service operated as an unregistered broker. Okay, protect us harder, SEC, protect us harder, Gary. We need your protection. It's not like people in these 2022 bankruptcies like Voyager, Celsius, BlockFi, FTX didn't get royally fucking screwed, but please, sue MetaMask, because that shut down the shitcoin casino, as maybe some Bitcoiners would call it. If people want to buy shitcoins, let them fucking buy shitcoins. If they want to buy penny stocks, let people buy penny stocks. So to sue MetaMask or sue ConsenSys, saying that what they were doing was illegal, I mean, is that really helping people? Are people better off because of this? Or again, is it making companies want to pack up their bags and get out of the country, right? Because they're like, this is not a safe place to build a crypto company. There's a video going around about Peter Thiel, who is one of the PayPal bros with Elon, essentially saying that Bitcoin isn't going to go up that much and ironically saying he didn't buy enough, which I think is a funny dichotomy there. But it wasn't too long ago that his company sold $1 billion of crypto, and they sold just months before he was on stage at Bitcoin Miami saying how great Bitcoin was. So this is something that a lot of people believe. It's like, well, when big money, smart money comes in, it's not good for the little guy. They just manipulate on a grand scheme, and they can publicly lie and say that things are amazing while they are secretly selling massive amounts of it. It doesn't make things look great for the little guy, right? But then again, hedge fund guys have been doing this for decades, saying a company is horrible and then shorting it, etc. So this is nothing new. Some would call it market manipulation. Others would call it just rich people doing rich people things that have a lot of influence. And finally, we have Michael Dell filed to sell 10 million shares of his stock worth $1.3 billion. Will he become the next MicroStrategy? Will Dell put Bitcoin on their balance sheet? I don't know, we'll see. Michael Dell's net worth makes Michael Saylor's net worth look like he's broke. So it is really interesting seeing people who are like really rich get involved with Bitcoin, and also maybe, I don't know, maybe put it on their balance sheet for their company. That'd be pretty huge. I mean, I do think that, just to finish this video off, the trajectory of everything is what we need to look at, right? There's a lot of day-to-day movements, a lot of intraday movements, week to week, month to month, even year to year, where it's like, things aren't going very well. But looking at things from like a bigger perspective, guys, it's like, what's happening? Well, billionaires are putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They're buying Bitcoin. We're getting registered investment advisors suggesting it to their clients. So I think it's important to look at just the big picture and keep that rooted into how you're feeling. Because yeah, I mean, the price of Bitcoin right now, I'm out of breath. The price of Bitcoin right now is not that exciting. It's been hovering around, 60 for a week or two. And it's like, gosh, man, will this break out of 100 ever? I think so. I think 100%, 1,000%. So it's important just to remember what's going on in the big picture, liquidity cycles every 4 years, what's going on with that. And yeah, that's it, guys. So hope you're well. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, talk with you soon, and bye for now.